How's it going, everyone? I am Walter the Film Hermit, and today I'm doing something a little different. I'm doing a pre-review for a movie that isn't out and I haven't seen yet. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about Spider-Man No Way Home. Everyone on the internet has been talking about this film for months. Everyone's super excited. It's been really crazy getting tickets for this movie. So I'm going to talk about my little experience of trying to get tickets and why this movie is so popular. I think a lot of people out there don't understand what the big deal is. So I thought about doing this video the other day because I saw a news story yesterday. So I guess in Mexico, there was an incident where fans were trying to get tickets for the movie and they got into a fight, and you have video of them kicking somebody in the face to get tickets, which of course I don't advocate, and I don't understand how fighting someone in front of a movie theater is going to get you tickets for a movie. Number one, you shouldn't be fighting or hurting anyone to see a movie. That's completely ridiculous and doesn't make any sense. And two, I don't see why that would be something that would enter anyone's mind. But the reason the story stood out in my mind was the people that were doing the story didn't really quite understand why people are so excited to see the movie. Because one, we're in the middle of a pandemic that's going on. People are kind of worried about going to the movie theaters. They don't understand why people would risk it. I think a lot of people would risk it because they want to get back to the movies. They have been vaccinated. They feel safe. And what is about this movie in particular that's got people so interested? Well, a lot of people don't know this, but Spider-Man is actually one of, if not the most popular superhero of all time. It's been popular ever since it was released in the 60s. Everyone knows the original Spider-Man trilogy that starred Tobey Maguire. So those are produced by Sony Pictures back in the early 2000s. They were going to do a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire, and he and the director Sam Raimi decided not to go forward with it. Some time had gone by, so they rebooted the whole franchise and they got Andrew Garfield. Now, the Andrew Garfield films, they're okay. I love Andrew Garfield as an actor, and I didn't know who he was until I watched those films. And I do like them to a certain degree now because I like him as a performer. But I always liked the Tobey Maguire films better. So I guess that's the best way to describe it. So then what happened was the last film came out with Andrew Garfield, and it didn't do very well at the box office. So Kevin Feige, who runs Marvel Studios, he went to Amy Pascal that runs Sony, and he had a radical idea. He's like, why don't we do this? Marvel films are doing really well right now. We would love to use Spider-Man in our movies. So why don't you just let us make the movie for you? You guys pay for it. And then when it comes out, you guys keep all the money. The only thing that we ask is that we could use Spider-Man in our films. So that's a pretty amazing deal. So what I've read basically is Amy and Sony said, no, we're not going to do that. Then again, this is all rumor. I don't know the ins and outs of what happened, but the rumors basically is that some situations happened at Sony where she knew she was going to lose her job. So then she decided to do the deal and then put in the contract that I am a producer of these films as well. So after she lost her job there, she's able to do these movies and still work with Sony in making these movies. So that's when Tom Holland was brought in, and they did the last two movies. Now, a lot of people say they don't like Tom Holland because of the fact that he's not Tobey Maguire, but I've always liked him. And I love the idea that they brought him into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then people are saying, well, it's not the same. I like the solo Spider-Man movies only. I'm like, yeah, but they did that already. This is something new, something different. This is more closer to the comic books. And Homecoming is a lot of fun. It's probably one of the funnest Marvel movies that they ever made. I've seen it many times. I always laugh, always have a good time with it. And Far From Home was actually pretty good too. Saw that at the theater back in, 2019. Doesn't seem like that long, but before everything happened, 2019, that was like the last Marvel movie they released that year. And we didn't get a Marvel movie again until this year, 2021, when Black Widow came out. So now what happened was when they signed this deal, it was for like 2 solo movies and for a couple of appearances in other Marvel movies. Like Spider-Man originally showed up in Captain America Civil War, and then he was in the Avengers Infinity War and Endgame. Then the contract was done. And then now Sony's like, oh, okay, well, this character's popular now. Like, maybe we should start making our own movies again. And everyone was like, no, we don't want that to happen. We want him to still be in the Marvel Universe so he can be in Avengers movies because we like how everything was going. And I even heard that Tom Holland himself, he even tried to go to the CEOs of both Disney and Sony to try to get this deal signed again. And that's what happened. They basically signed another deal. This is going to be the last film that's going to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe until they do another contract. And he's supposed to appear like in one other Marvel movie. I think that's still in that contract. So this is the end of that trilogy. But it's more important than that. I think everybody knows this, but the only reason I'm revealing the video because like everyone's been talking about this. I was at Walmart and I saw two girls that you think would never see a Spider-Man movie, and they were talking about how, yeah, I heard a rumor that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be in the new Spider-Man movie. So everyone's been kind of whispering about this. It's not been confirmed yet, which is very, very fascinating. Something like this doesn't happen. The fact that someone's in a movie and like people don't know for sure, it's not confirmed that they're in the movie. So a lot of people want to see this opening night to see if truly they're going to show up or not. Because this is something that's never been done in any superhero movie. The trailers already show that all the villains from the previous Spider-Man films are coming back. Alfred Molina is coming back as Dr. Octopus. We have Jamie Foxx coming back as Electro. We even see the Sandman in the trailers. We see the Lizard from the Amazing Spider-Man 1. This is basically the Sinister Six movie that Sony always wanted to make, and now they're making it. This is a big epic Spider-Man film that could possibly bring in the old Spider-Man as well. There's a lot of rumors online that they've been digitally removing Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire from the film. Andrew Garfield has been going on interviews basically saying that he is not in the movie and he's apologizing in advance. No one knows what's true. The video is leaked of him on set in the movie. He says it's a Photoshop. This is in the whole film industry. This whole thing has been super fascinating. And then, like, a lot of people want to be there opening night to finally get their answers revealed. And some people have been talking about other things. Like, there's probably other secrets in this movie that we don't know about. Like, the Andrew Garfield thing and the Tobey Maguire thing is just something that they're kind of leaking to us. But, like, there's other secrets that we haven't even thought about yet. And I'm going to throw something out there that I haven't heard anyone say, just to say that I said it first. When I was a kid, of course, I used to watch Spider-Man, like the animated series. There's like an animated series called Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. But there was a live action Spider-Man starring an actor named Nicholas Hammond. And I checked on IMDb. He is still working. And I'm wondering, what if Nicholas Hammond showed up as Spider-Man? If you've never seen any clips of that show, it's very, very old, very dated, but for young me, that was the only Spider-Man that we had, so it was fine. But it had this really cheesy 70s music. Like, they would spend most of the show with him not being Spider-Man. Like, he was Peter Parker, he was a reporter, he's always investigating something, and then all of a sudden, he'd be Spider-Man, and you see this guy in a Spider-Man suit climbing a wall, and they'd be like, and then he goes, it was so 70s and so cheesy, hilarious. I don't know if it's on home video or not, but I used to watch it all the time. The other funny thing about it is that the end credits of the show, they were like movies, TV movies and a show as well, if I remember correctly. It was just a close-up of him in the Spider-Man outfit and then his hands like this. And even as a kid, he used to crack me up because it was completely ridiculous. And I'm sure it probably had some Stan Lee cameos even back in it was the late 70s that show aired. So I'm thinking, everyone's like, who's going to show up? Who's going to be Wolverine? Who's going to show up? And I'll be like, what if Nicholas Hammond shows up? That would be really, really cool. Because I'd probably be the only person in the theater like, yeah, I know that guy. So me trying to get tickets for this movie was pretty crazy. So try to get tickets for Spider-Man. They came last, Sunday night. They came up. It was 12 p.m. Eastern, so it was about 9 p.m. for us here in California. So I logged on to the site, and I'm watching the John Campea show because he did a live Ticket Watch 2021. So I'm watching John Campea, and John Campea basically says, 8:45, the tickets are up. So I'm like, cool. So I click on AMC's site. They would not let me buy tickets over and over again. I would click on it. It would put me in a queue, and then it would kick me out. I tried Adam. I tried all of them. It basically crashed all of the websites. So watching John Campy, and he's like, well, I guess we're just going to jump in the car and just go to the theater and buy the tickets. And I'm like, why do I do that? Because I've done that once before. I think it was for one of the Star Wars films. The ticket system got shut down. Because I had a feeling what was going on was a lot of people were trying to buy tickets, but not a lot of people were successful. So I drove down to the theater at 10:30 at night, got there just before they closed. And then she's like, you want to buy Spider-Man tickets? I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay. She goes, what time? I'm like, Thursday. She's like, okay. Where do you want to sit? That's simple. Gave me the ticket. Done. So easy. They really need to change their ticketing system so they can handle more people. I mean, especially since they knew this movie was going to be huge. So, but don't be thrown by the fact that it was hard to get tickets that first night, because I looked at some of the other showings. The first few showings definitely are sold out, but they have a lot of showings. And they added more showings. Like AMC has like a 2 a.m. showing. A 2 a.m. showing on a Thursday night. And they've only sold a couple of seats in there. So if you're determined to see it that first night, you can see it. There's plenty of seats. It just depends on if the time is right for you. And then I went to some of the other days. As long as you're not trying to get IMAX or Dolby, there's seats to be gotten. So, because I know the movie theaters want to make the money they didn't make over the years. So if they got a lot of people coming to the theaters, they're going to have as many screens they need to get their money. So gonna go Thursday night. Really excited to finally check it out. Hopefully this won't be the last Spider-Man film in the MCU, but we'll see what happens. I'm not as invested as I was back when this first happened. When this happened, I was really, really excited. I was like, ooh, this is great. And hopefully it stays in the MCU. But now I do want it to stay in the MCU, but it's not the end of the world if it doesn't. If Sony decides to make Spider-Man movies on their own without Marvel, I probably won't watch them. I'm not going to complain and make 100 videos about it, but I probably won't watch them because I don't think Sony makes good Spider-Man movies. Now, someone that I respect was basically, well, Spider-Man 2 is the best superhero movie ever made. It is, but that was a long time ago. When it comes to the creative people that are in charge at Sony, I don't trust them today to make a Spider-Man 2, if that makes sense. And I want to bore you guys to detail with all that, but that's how I feel about it. So I'm really excited to see the movie. It's gonna be released on the 17th, and they're doing showings on the 16th. So if you want to go get a ticket, that 2 a.m. showing is wide open. I won't be there at 2 o'clock in the morning. So after I see it, I may do a review. I don't know if I want to reveal too much about the movie. I want to give people a chance to see it. And I think this is the kind of movie that's going to be hard to talk about without talking about the details of it. I've heard that they're going to be doing press showings, and they're only showing the press the first 40 minutes. That's how much they're trying to keep secret the elements of this film. So that's another reason why fans are like, we got to know what's going on. So if you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel. For those of you that have already subscribed and are watching the videos, I want to thank you all. All 68 of you have subscribed. Actually, no, I think it's at 69 now, so I'm moving up in the world. Thank you so much for watching, and you have a good day. Bye.